button. We'll read the supers at the end. Without further ado, we bring our friend in, Big Z. Zander Krause joins us now. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Sills? How you living over there, brother?
All good, man. Let's start it with AJ.
Uh-oh.
So Jeremy Fowler has come out and he was on, I guess, that show Get Up today. And he was saying that executives are going to be contacting the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you believe, after what Jason Kelce said today on WIP, and I want to quote this here, Zander, and I want to make sure I get this right here, okay? Jason Kelce on the perceived lack of effort from A.J. Brown this year. It's very unfortunate a player who allows his internal frustrations to manifest into his play, and it makes him play worse, and it makes the offense play worse. To me, that sounds like a weak-minded guy. If you're trying all these changes, wouldn't it be best off if you moved on from the player?
Potentially. I mean, it's hard to know the inner workings of how the coaches, how the quarterback, how everybody sees his comments. But I do think what you learned last year is that they mattered to some extent because they tried to get him involved a lot more. I forget who it is who comes on. I think it's Mike North who comes on often and says, well, they were winning every game when he wasn't getting touches and he was crying. And then he started getting touches and the Eagles started losing. Now, I don't necessarily correlate those things to, I don't know that necessarily correlation, causation, whatever. You guys know that phrase. But, yeah, I mean, I think if it's going to take away, then that's the point you've reached. So the other thing I think that's more important than that is, I mean, if your lack of focus is going to degrade your quality of play in big moments, I mean, look, say what you want about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts trusted him in big moments in the playoff game. He didn't deliver. That's unacceptable. And I don't think that happened because he's losing it as a player or it was a bad moment even. I don't even think it was that. I think the lack of focus got to him. And that's where I think I would pull the trigger. If that's not going to be fixed, then in a way we're wasting both of our time. And I don't think that's a good
Understand this. Jeremy Fowler is a very respected guy. And he's saying that executives are going to be reaching out to the Eagles.
Oh, they are.
People keep bringing the money up. Hey, guys, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about with the money. People will make that shit work. You get caught up in
They will, but it is a challenge with AJ.
It is.
Yeah,
it is
he's one
challenge.
of the toughest guys.
However, though, Zander, people make things happen. We've seen it. The Eagles took on a $30 million cap hit with Wentz, didn't they?
32, yeah. Dead cap. Yep.
Okay. So they've got precedent where they've done it, right? Okay. So, again, I mean.
I don't disagree with you. I think they will do it. I'm just pointing out that of all the people on the team, 52-man roster, next to Jalen and Lane Johnson, actually, A.J. Brown's contract is probably the hardest to move off of, and he's harder than Lane's. So it's a tough contract to move. It is. It's a challenge to move.
Okay. So I got some questions here for you as we head into the offseason here. Jalen Hurts. How do you think the relationship with Mannion and Josh Grizzard? Last year I asked this question. People thought the transition with Kevin Patullo would be an easy one because Kevin was in the building. Sean Mannion and Josh Grizzard and Jalen Hurts. What impact do you think those three have on one another?
It's a good question. I look at those coaches and as optimistic as anybody could be about them, I think that it would be fair to wonder, how's Jalen going to respond to youthful leadership? Sean Mannion is 6 years his superior, and he can't hold a candle to Jalen's resume when he played. Now, playing isn't always, a perfect indication of a coach. I mean, some of the greatest coaches of all time haven't played the game, a lot of them. So that's not a perfect comp. I just, Jalen's one of those, people call him an old soul. I think that's an accurate description of him. How's he going to resonate with a 33, a 35, and a 38-year-old that control the run game, the pass game, and are the OC? Now, let's see what they do in the quarterback coach. That's why I like that Olsen guy that they're talking about because, all right, at least you give me somebody with some major experience and pedigree. But I do wonder, I don't know how it's going to be, Sills. And the worst part about it, well, the true part about it is we're not going to find out
No.
because Jalen doesn't say a whole lot about it, which is fine. But people will draw from his comments whatever they want or however they want to take it. And we will see. I think what will win him over will be competence. I think if every time you meet somebody, you can sense something about them. Certain people give off certain things. If Jalen Hurts feels that Sean Mannion is competent, and Seth Joyner used to say this. That's one of my favorite things that Seth used to say on our shows when he was on JAKIB. He used to say, when a player believes a coach can make them better or teach them something,
That's right.
a player will listen to that coach. You could be the greatest coach in the world, but if you don't have the respect or the ear of your player, you're not going to get through to him. So that's kind of how I see Jalen. I think he's got that hard-headed approach, and he should. He's a successful player. And I think if they show competence, I think he'll be able to buy in. But I think he'll buy in anyway because he's got no choice, dude. I mean, you got to buy in, brother. That's who the team hired. So you either buy in or the team has a bad year, and then everybody might be on the way out,
Here's question number 2. What impact do you think Sean Mannion, Josh Grizzard, and Chris Cooper have on Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, I'm actually a little bit more glib on Barkley this year. I just really don't see him as a player that can be used in the style of offense that we're presuming they're going to run. Now, that doesn't mean Saquon's not an amazing player. He's an amazing player, but you can list out 5 strengths and 5 weaknesses for any player, any person, any human, anything. Saquon's got 5 incredible strengths. If you list his weaknesses as a player, I'd put catching the ball out of the backfield. I'd put pass protection. These are things that you got to do.
Yeah.
Being a patient runner.
Yeah.
How's that going to play? Now, are they going to run full West Coast? I don't know if they're going to run full West Coast. If they do, I think they're making a bad mistake because I don't think the quarterback or the running back or really anybody is built for that. But maybe they try, and we'll see what they end up doing. I don't know that it's going to be a positive impact on Barkley. I mean, hear me out. Barkley had Jeff Stoutland and the Nick Sirianni offense ran for 3,700 yards in 2 seasons. Now, granted, 25 of them came in one of them, but
still,
it
adds up.
Pretty good output, my friends.
It sure is.
So, how are they going to make him better than that? That's a tough feat.
Okay, here's another one here. Will the Eagles re-sign Dallas Goedert or draft his replacement?
I think draft his replacement, Sills. I'd actually like to see him come back, but I think they're gonna look to get cheap there, and I think they got to get a long-term option here. I mean, if you remember last offseason at this time, we were kind of having similar combos about the tight end situation.
Yeah.
We don't have a long-term solution here. And if you bring Goddard back, I think you're kind of on the hamster wheel again. And I think it'd be a good opportunity, a good year to pick up a guy in the draft, either a first, second, or third rounder. I don't think it'll be a first rounder, second or third rounder, maybe even a high 4th rounder if you feel good about the tight end class. And look for somebody that can contribute to your football team for the next 4 years. I'm not talking about Grant Calcaterra. I'm talking about a tight end that you can put out there on 3 downs and can play ball. And that's hard to find. And maybe that's a big ask for 4th round. So maybe you got to go premium round. But I think that's what you need here. I don't know if you want to go back down the Goddard route, as much as I like Goddard, actually.
All right. I'm going to take you behind the curtain a little bit here. And I suggested this to somebody in the Eagle organization, and you guys you'll get it. You ready, Zay?
Yep.
I told this particular guy, you know what I would do? I would extend Jordan Davis before I extended Jalen Carter. Light that fucking fire under that kid's ass and give him the money first. Because what did they do a year ago with him?
Right.
They picked up the 5th-year option. He kicked it into gear, and it motivated the player to play his ass off this year for me to consider it. What do you make of that take? What would you
I would
think
agree
about
with it.
doing that?
This is one of those questions where, I don't profess to be the expert. I'm sure Howie will make his decision, but I agree with you. I mean, it makes sense. He didn't have a good year. The disciplinary and stuff, reared its head again this year, several moments. The injuries are a concern if you're the Eagles. And if you're Jalen Carter, I mean, what does it teach you to not deliver your best and then get paid like you delivered your best? I don't know. I mean, give him that upside, give him that, that experience to see Jordan get paid. And he obviously watched what Jordan accomplished and how much he worked for it. So I agree with you. I think it's a good way to do it. I do. I think that's the right way to do it. The thing where I think it might not happen that way is if they believe they can save $20 million by signing Jalen Carter a year early, I think they're going to do that.
Well, see, that's a great question now, because I brought this up with Baker. Baker didn't have a really great year this year, right? I suggest that the Bucs might want to give you a contract extension now, because I would say this. What's the price tag on him right now? 45? Okay. If he goes into the year and he plays like he did 2 years ago, it's 55. So, I mean, does the quarterback want to do that? Because if that's me, what if I play shitty? He was on the IR, not IR, but he was listed on the injury list 8 times. If I'm the player's agent and I do this, shit, should I take the 45? That's $15 million increase right now. Or do I gamble? I'm 31 years old, 32 years old. If I'm the Bucs, I offer him the cash now. See, for me with Carter, I'd go to Carter and say this. Here's 28. Here's 28 million. That's 2 million more than Milton got. Here's 28 million. Do you want the money now, or do you want to gamble on yourself? So far, what I saw, you gambling on yourself last year, you don't want another year like that, dude. You have 2 years like that in a row, you ain't getting 35 million.
Right.
You're not getting 30. I'm not paying $30 million a year for Jalen Carter if he puts another year like that up. So do you take the 28 now?
Maybe. But I don't know. It's a tight line with that player, isn't it? Because everybody.
Yeah, because there's more variable. You know what? I feel more comfortable giving Jordan Davis the money than I do Jalen Carter.
And the tougher part about Carter is,
he's more talented.
It's a little more boom or bust. Yeah, you have a bigger upside, but you also have a bigger downside because of how much you're looking to pay for him.
Yeah.
And I think, I actually think the biggest issue with the Carter thing is the injuries. More than the discipline stuff, more than the play this year, I think it's the injuries. And you have a guy who missed multiple games because of injuries. He wasn't the same player when he was on the field this year. Whether you want to blame that on injuries or not, I don't know. I think that's what he will. That's what Drew will. That's what his agent will. How do you know?
Yeah, but discipline plays in the preparation too.
It does, but one of the thing that they used last year, and I know because John gave me the same thing, so I know the agent was out there spinning the talking points. Jalen Carter wasn't able to prepare for the season the same way that Jordan Davis was because he couldn't lift consistently with his shoulders.
Well, then why did he address that in the offseason? I mean, what did you
I don't know?
That's on the player.
And I think they're waiting to do it now because they feel like if they go under the knife with the shoulders, he's going to hurt his value.
This is why I would offer him.
I would do the 5th-year option.
Or here's 28. And I get a steal.
I like the 5th-year option better because this is what I guarantee you. His 5th-year option is going to be a pretty good money. It's going to be 20 million plus probably. 20
million. I think you need to kick that up a little higher.
Yeah, like 25 million, you think? For a 5th-year option? Yeah, that's about right. So give him the 5th-year option, and now he's got to make a decision. Are you going to get the shoulders done or are you not? Now, Yale says he had surgery. Yeah, I didn't see that anywhere. Well, he had a minor microscopic, He didn't have the full surgery. That was in season, I think you're talking about. Yeah, that was the microscopic one. He needs a full surgery. And I think he's pushing it off because Drew.
He is.
Drew says, let's get the money. And I think if the Eagles pick up the fifth-year option, now he's going to have to say, I either fix my shoulders and have a better year, or I try and wait to get the big bag and I don't play as good for a second straight season. I don't know. He's a little bit of a complex situation. Obviously, he's a good enough player that you want to pay him, but
the tag, they're not tagging him. The tag would be 27.4. Just to keep that in context. And 26, you'd be paying the guy $28 million. See, I say this to the guy. Take the money now, kid. Because you come back and you have a shit year like you did this year, you ain't getting 28. I'd hold the kid's shitty year against him, and I would make him feel even worse by paying Jordan Davis before him. Jordan Davis deserves it, dude. I feel better paying him right now than I think Carter.
I would pay Jordan for sure. I mean, look, even if you listen and think that Jordan Davis hasn't lived up to the 13th overall pick, you got to flush that down the toilet. You need great defensive tackles in the NFL, or good defensive tackles. And Jordan Davis is a good defensive tackle. He might not be the 13th overall pick that you wanted, where he was going to be the greatest game record. He might not be that. He's a damn good DT, and you need damn good DTs in the NFL. So I would pay Jordan Davis. I don't even think he's a question. I would pay him.
The reason that I get clouded is because Fletcher was a 13th or 12th player taken.
Was Fletcher? Yeah, Fletcher was that high.
Okay.
Fletcher was, I think.
Fletcher was like.
Was he the 12th overall?
I think he was somewhere around there. If I can remember right.
Maybe? Yeah, 12.
He was 12?
12.
That's my problem. I'm stuck on Fletcher Cox going, Fletcher was the 12th player taken.
You got to move on from that.
13th was he's no Fletcher Cox, dude.
No, I'm not saying he is. He's also not going to be paid like Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox signed a 7-year, $96 million deal, I remember, with Philly back when that was a lot of money. 7 years, 96 today would be a freaking deal. Yeah. But Fletcher was paid, man. Fletcher was one of the highest paid DTs in football. So,
okay. Here's another question for you. So we're hearing all indications that Lane's coming back. 94, 41, and 1 with him out there. 15 and 27 when he's not out there.
Wait, what was it with him out there?
94, 41, and 1.
Woo! Holy moly.
In his time in Philadelphia, during his time, 94 wins, 41 losses, and 1 tie. Without him, he's 15 and 27. So my question to you is, replacing that guy just might be more difficult than replacing A.J. Brown. Okay. What version are you getting with him? How are you? His impact coming back will be what? I mean, do you go offensive tackle? Because, again, here's the problem, Zander, with him. I don't know the version I'm getting with him. That's why I think I have to go offensive tackle at that position.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think optimistically, I'd like to say that Lane's going to be back, and he's going to be a much improvement from who he had in the second half of the year last year. And I say that with respect to Fred. But Sills, when you have a 36-year-old guy on your roster in the NFL, the question that you just asked can be applied to every last one of them. So what version? I don't know. And that's the other catch. You don't know. Howie doesn't know. Jeffrey doesn't know. Clint Hurt doesn't know. No, not Clint Hurt. Jeff Stoutland, Chris Cooper, whatever the hell the new guy's name is, doesn't know. Sean Mannion doesn't know. Jalen Hurts doesn't know. Nobody knows. You would think that if Lane's healthy, he's going to cook. I think he's going to be fine. I didn't see – when Lane was healthy, I can't say I watched him get beat up very much last year. No. So I think Lane will be good, but the question is, can he stay healthy?
I don't believe I've ever seen Lane Johnson.
I'm a little concerned on that injury, man. Like when it happened, it was like 4 to 6 weeks, and we thought for sure he'd be back by the regular season, not even the playoffs. Kept pushing it. Then there was some mental health talk. I don't want to speculate on that. I don't know. And then he never came. I don't know. It just felt weird to me. It didn't feel fully transparent.
Yeah, but the injury, unless it's something else, I'm not concerned with the injury. I'm concerned with the age and the amount of injuries he's had.
Well, don't they go? They a little go hand in hand at
Yeah,
this point.
the accumulation of it all, because Xander, when you get older, the recoup is longer.
If I put the over under at 13 and a half games for Lane, would you take the over or the under?
Whew, that's right on the number too, boy. I don't think he plays more than 13 ball games.
I hate to say this, but I feel like I agree with you, and I don't want to agree with you at all.
I think they're going to try to I think they're going to try to spread him out as much as they can, because I need him in the back end of that season, not the front end. Then again, the way the schedule's shaping up, you may need it. You don't know yet, because the hard end of your schedule may be at the front end. You don't. It's hard to say that right now in February until you see the schedule. But 12 games for Lane, 13 games for Lane, 13, 14, 15, 16, missing 4 games. Does that sound right? Missing 4 games for a 36-year-old offensive tackle.
That's right.
Doesn't that sound right? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one for you here. The new offensive scheme and the new offensive skill set. What to do with AJ if he is here? Now, do you feel, when I say this comment, can this offense run effectively through Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley without A.J. Brown? Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles could repeat as NFC East champions, running the offense through Devontae and Barkley?
If A.J. was gone?
Yep.
No. I don't feel very good about that, dude. I don't. The league has changed. You used to get away with, well, I guess the Seahawks just kind of broke that. I mean, they didn't have 2 huge.
Yeah, well, that JSN guy's a little different. I mean, they move him all over. Plus, you have a pretty good 2 in Cooper.
I think my bigger gripe is not, and I hate to say this because everybody immediately will turn you to a hater, but it doesn't work because I think the quarterback isn't a volume guy. You know what I mean? So like JSN got, I don't know how many catches he had last year, 100 something?
Like 130.
Yes, I mean, that's a freaking lot, dude.
I mean, yeah, like almost 19.
I mean, that's almost Devontae and AJ put together. They had 70 each, I think.
He had like 100. They had like 1,800 yards receiving.
Let me look up his stats.
Yeah, he had like 1,800 yards.
I don't say that as a knock on Hurts. I just say with Hurts' style, you have to manage it the right way, and it's not you need a variance of playmakers. Hurts doesn't spread the ball. He's not a volume passer, so I think you're going to need a little bit more weapons to go that route. But dude, Jackson Smith-Njigba is 23. He turns 24 in 2 days. That's interesting, but that's insane. That season he just had as a 23-year-old.
What did he have? What were the numbers?
I'm getting them. Give me a second. What is this Cloudflare verification? Here we go. He had 163 targets, 119 catches, 1,793 in yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Oh, my God.
And in the playoffs, he had 26 targets, 17 receptions, and 199 and 2 tutties.
Bro, 1,793. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Megatron is 1,930. I think Megatron had like 1930, 1950. Yeah. I think that's the record. Now, I think they only played 16 games back then.
They did.
So that number's a little more insane when you're talking about Megatron here. Okay, I got another one here for you. So let's go down here to – let me see here. How do you address the cornerback position here? What will the Eagles address the cornerback spot with? Will they do this in the draft, or will they do this in free agency?
Do what?
Address cornerback 2.
Boy, it's a pick 'em. I mean, it could be either one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they might draft one. because it would make sense to get one on a rookie deal.
You said the other deal to me, you doubt they go down that lane because
I don't think so, but it also makes some sense because now you're 2 years done on Cooper and Quignon. So you got a 2 to 3 year window already now where you're going to have to, if you pay the guy you draft this year after Quignon and Coop. So, think about it. Coop will probably get paid next summer before his final year of his contract.
Yeah. Yep.
So you'll have another 2 or 3 years till you have to pay, the next guy you would draft. So the draft makes sense, but you'd have to get the right guy. And the other thing there is, are you gonna hit like you did on Quignon? I know it's 2 great picks, but Makuba was a good pick. That's more what you get from a 64th overall player. Good season, but he's not ready. He wasn't ready to be a bona fide starter yet. He wasn't a playmaker. So if they don't feel like they can get that, I think they might go the older route again. So
do you
that's what I think they can do.
Do you think this football team in front of our eyes right now, with all the changing on offense, do you think they're making a financial change from the offensive paying the guys to the defensive side? And this is why we're seeing a lot of young people coming in on offense, is because I heard you guys talking this morning about personnel being changed out in the next 2 years. I mean, I can see the comment, Zander, where you're paying more money on the defensive side of the ball to keep Vic in the building. If you start spending more money on defense, wouldn't that entice Vic to stay?
No.
You wouldn't want to stay if they started instead of going blowtorch every offseason, they started retaining guys over
I don't think it's about that for Vic. I'm not saying your point is wrong. Vic to me is a dude who's like, I'm an old salty dog, and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. If I want to walk away, I'm walking away. There's no variable that's going to change that. So that's how I see it. I think this is Vic's last year.
Okay.
He's 67 or 68, dude. He's getting up there.
All right. Here's my last one. And I got one last one when it comes to Sirianni. So Reed Blankenship, according to PFF, was ranked 96th as a safety.
Oh, really? Was he?
96th. I heard you sound like
you just talked about Vic. Don't take away Vic's boy Reed.
Hey, wait.
Vic doesn't care about no PFF ranking.
He's 96th. I remember you telling me you want to pay $10 million to a 96th ranked safety. 96th.
I think you're making shit up.
I bet you do. 2025 PFF ranking 42.2.
You let Reed stinking ship walk. Vic might retire right now.
96th. What do you do with that, Steph?
It's a good question. I'd pay him.
You'd pay him what?
All right, so you're going to get rid of Nakobe Dean. You're going to get rid of Jalen Phillips. You're going to get rid of Reed Blankenship. And you're gonna run it back again and be a defensive football team.
I'm just putting it out there, man. What's going on? And you're getting.
I'm going off of what I've been told. I've been told that Reed Blankenship is the glue in the secondary.
I've been still waiting for that contract for over a year and 2 months.
A year and 2 months? How about a year and 8 months? 10 months? After the Super Bowl last year, you were asking that.
Jesus criminy, man. How many more freaking months are we going to go here? All right. Nick Sirianni. Is he going to have a big leash or short leash in 26?
Short leash in 26, I would think. Unless they're throwing us a whirlwind and they're building it for Nick in another world or another life or another, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I don't think so. I think short leash. Short
leash for a guy, and he is.
Whoa!
Is he on the hot seat then?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, your boy's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that get there?
Well, you can't go down this road. You're not allowed to play that card. You've been saying he's a caboose.
I know he is. I'm talking. Wait.
You and every other numbnuts listening right now.
No.
Yeah. Wait, when they lose, it's all Nick. When they win, it's no Nick. All right.
You just
And I
told
say the
me,
same
though.
thing about people who say that about Jalen.
Well,
If
you
you're going to
just
give
told me.
Jalen credit for wins, then he deserves credit for losses.
Wait a minute.
I rip Hurts when he doesn't play good.
Wait,
Hurts deserves credit if they win.
wait, folks. Listen to what this guy's trying to play. He's trying to play both sides of the. He's trying to have two girlfriends here at one time.
No, I'm not. You and everybody else.
Hey,
when the Eagles win, it's Jalen Hurts and the players and Howie. Okay.
Yeah.
When they lose, it's the coaches. How does that make sense?
Okay, easily. You just told me he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, that's an owner thing.
Dude, boy, I'll tell you, I got to get my decoder book out for all the fucked up shit that goes on with your team. So wait a minute. The coach was almost fired twice in 3 years. He's now on the hot seat. He's been in the playoffs every year, but the owner doesn't even give him credit for his resume. Is that what you're telling me?
The owner didn't give Doug credit for his resume.
Man, this is a pseudo world I live in Philly with these guys.
Dude, there's too many stiffs. And Izzy B, I hate to do it to you, but I'm calling you out. What did Nick ever done for? Yeah, let me guess, Izzy B. When they won a world championship a year ago, whatever the hell it was, no, it was all the players. Jalen's a winner. This
and Howie.
And then when they lose, it's all Nick, right?
Howie.
How convenient is that? All right, so now that they failed, is it on Howie that they failed or no? You still put it on Nick? Again, there's no consistency.
No. Because your organization's not consistent.
I don't give a shit. I don't need to subscribe to their inconsistency. I'm consistent.
Okay. You know what? Okay. Howie took a blowtorch, folks. Did you not hear me say Howie took a blowtorch to your defense? How you doing? You're not good. Your football team's not consistent. Damn. Woo! This gonna be fun. I could tell you what, I got John McMullen here. I'm gonna let you go here, Z, but I'll tell you what here, bro. This is gonna be another wow.
We got a good super chat we got to get to. I saw it come over and I've been thinking about it since he sent it.
Listen, John McMullen doesn't think Hurts and this team is going to do that offense.
No, he doesn't.
And I'm
Wait, you must have heard the comment. It was the funniest comment that maybe you've ever heard John say, and it was very unintentionally funny.
Say it. I may have.
No, because we were talking about how they scaled it back with Kellen. Remember, it was 4 weeks.
Yep.
So I said, all right, John, if you don't think they're going to do this West Coast, when do you think they scale it back? And he goes, week 1.
Week 1.
Week 1? What the fuck do you mean week 1? I didn't even put on my jock strap yet. What the fuck?
My God.
Week 1.
Zander, I haven't even broken in my cleats yet.
Yeah. Right. I was after the show. I reheard that, and I'm like, holy shit.
Hey, you know what I would tell? You know what I would ask then if that happens? If they do that and revert back, it's going to implode even bigger, because then my question would be, why'd you fire Stoutland then if you're going to go back?
Yeah, I said that this morning.
Why would you go back to doing what you did if you fired?
Insinuating that Stoutland became a pain in the ass. Ego got big. The Stout U stuff went to his head. The city loving him went to his head. Thought he deserved more credit or more, more say in the way it unfolded. And he's not the head coach.
I got that, but I mean, quite a few Hall of Famers he's coached there since he's been there. I mean,
you don't have to sell me.
I mean,
by the way, we have 2 world champions, 2 Super Bowls in the history. And by the way,
what was the common denominator?
And the best part of both of them was the offensive line. So
wait,
you're not going to get me to rip just that one.
He can't have an ego. I mean, I'm all right with if Nick can have an ego. You're telling me he can't?
I don't even think he has an ego. I think he thinks I'm no dumbass, man. I know what I'm talking about, and he's right.
I really think it came down. I don't want to work for a 33-year-old dude. I think it came down to that. I think it came down to what would this guy possibly know? No disrespect to him. What would that guy possibly know that we haven't done here with success? And I think it's an insult. I really do. I think it's insulting.
And this is a good comment. Stout earned that ego. I mean, there's a difference between having an ego
That's
and
right.
it not being founded in truth. And then
That's right.
there's a difference in earning
That's
it.
right.
And it's a good comment. It's true.
That's right. That's right. Guys, do me a favor, supers. Forgot any? We'd love to have you here with them. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button. And Z, what you said you got one here you want to read?
We got a couple, but there's one that really sticks out to me. And here it is. It's the most recent one. Steve says this. They're going to run Doug Peterson's hybrid West Coast offense. I remember him mentioning that when they let Hurts be the starter. They're going to work around that. Saquon's days are numbers for obvious reasons. So anybody who remembers, and Steve, I'm going to use this all summer. Steve, I think you're right. I think you're right. I didn't even think about this until I just saw Steve commented a little bit ago. I remember Doug Peterson making I can't give you verbatim, making a comment that I don't run just the West Coast offense. I run a version of that that's tailored to the player's skill sets. Now, Steve, I would say this to you. If that's going to be the approach, and it makes sense because it's built to accentuate the talents of the quarterback, the playmakers, and the team. There was a lot of 12 and even 13 personnel when Doug Peterson was running that. Remember, they had Goddard and Ertz at the time. They better get some tight ends if they're going to run that style.
Why did you hire Doug as a consultant to install the offense?
Because they're not going down that road, dude.
So you're gonna get a guy who's going to. And by the way, the quarterbacks that you had in the building to run that hybrid West Coast, they were fucking Nick Foles and Wentz, who could throw from the pocket and process. I mean, those are. Do you think Nick Foles and Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts? You think you have any similarities? Any similarities in how they play in the pocket?
Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, so we're gonna run Doug's hybrid West Coast with Jalen?
Yeah, but Doug, no. That'll work. I think you're dismissing it. Actually, I get what you're saying, but you know, it was RPO integration. They had RPO. They used personnel packages, like I just said, 12 and 13 personnel. I mean, remember, you know where Doug Peterson got that, right?
Andy
Reid. That's where that came from. So I think you blend in some of the high percentage stuff that they're going to try and do with some RPO, and you know, that's why they're going to need tight ends, because they better mix up the personnel packages, because they're not going to make their hay on straight West Coast shit. They're not.
But Zander, if you're gonna let's say the quarterback, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Do you have the tight end, and do you have the backs, and do you have the old line that gives you that affordability to be able to run that offense? Man,
I got something on my purview here for the offseason that I think could come. I think the Eagles could make a splash at running back and not getting rid of Saquon Barkley.
Who, Kenny Walker?
No, that's too big. No.
He's a free agent, by the way.
He just got Super Bowl MVP. He's going to get paid like Saquon. Not him. I don't mean that big. I mean maybe a high draft pick or something like that. Maybe like a trade for somebody that's not, whatever. But I think they're going to go into the season. Remember what they did in 2020?
Would they draft Love in the first round?
Nah, that's too high. Nah, too many other needs. I don't mean that high.
23?
Dude, they need that first round pick. You're going to draft a running back when you have a right tackle who's about to retire?
Whoa, wait. You're going to go to an offense that the running back doesn't fit.
And hear me out.
But Jeremiah Love fits that offense.
Hear me out. 2017, the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Doug Peterson. They had good backs. They had LeGarrette Blount and Corey Clement, who was an undrafted free agent out of Glassboro, New Jersey, 45 minutes up the road from me. If you're over the bridge. Huh?
And Ajayi, wasn't he in there too somewhere?
They traded for Ajayi at the deadline.
Yeah.
They traded for Ajayi that year. They added a third back. Now, I'm not saying they're going to take the same exact approach, but do you look at it and say, if we're going to run this hybrid West Coast, which, Steve, this is where I love your comment, because West Coast is just not happening. They're not running a full West Coast offense, but hybrid makes more sense where you bring in good skill position players, running backs, tight ends. They already have the receivers, and you have a bunch of different personnel packages, a bunch of different formations, and you can run a really varied approach here with the West Coast. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Do you believe in a place called the Eagle Times?
No.
Okay, because they just posted saying that the Eagles are reportedly considering drafting a quarterback on day 2.
Who did they report a source? I think they were like an aggregate company.
Okay, all right. Because
what is it? Eagle Times?
The Eagle Times got 19,000 followers. It's just you follow them.
Yeah, I know who it is. It's
okay. Well, if you don't think it's
what did they post?
They said that the Eagles are considering drafting a quarterback on day 2.
Well,
trending. Eagles are reportedly considering drafting a quarterback on day 2. If this happens, it could put pressure on Jalen Hurts leading into this season, similar to what unfolded with Carson Wentz years ago. The Eagles have done this before, and it changed everything. I don't think what? Trinidad Chambliss?
What's that?
Trinidad Chambliss.
Don't tell me with that. I like that kid. I like the heart on that kid.
I thought he should have beat Miami.
I like what's fucking in here with that guy. All right.
His story too. He was at some nowhere college prior to Ole Miss. He was at some nowhere. He was at
Ferris State, I believe.
Some fucking nothing school.
Ferris State, I think.
And Lane found his ass, brought him in, and the guy, dude, was that guy first team All SEC? I think Trinidad Chambliss.
He probably was. I mean, who would have been better this year?
Yeah, it wasn't Ty.
No, and it wasn't the dude.
It wasn't Arch.
The Georgia dude.
And it wasn't right. It wasn't the Gunner kid.
2025.
Yeah, it had to be Trinidad Chambliss. He was a stud there and last year.
I'll tell you who it was right now.
Oh,
it wasn't him. It was Diego Pavia for first team.
Oh God, was he second team?
He was second team with Ty, him and Ty.
Okay. Trinidad Chambliss, second round Eagles. How you feel about that?
I kind of like it. Don't tempt me with it. All right. Don't tempt me with that shit.
Trinidad Chambliss. All right, let's get.
We don't need to go there yet. That's not.
I think you're a year away from that too.
Yeah, I don't. And by the way, the thing about Chambliss, as much as I like him, is he is small. He's very small.
He is. He's a short guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's like Pavia. I think. I don't know how tall Pavia is, but Pavia is like 5.
You watch the Jets draft that 5'5" guy. You watch. Pavia. The Jets draft that guy.
Oh God, that guy.
5'5" something. I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Guy made $6 million last year with he put
on a show.
He did.
I mean for the cameras, and that's a part of this game.
He did. He put
make a lot of money putting on a show.
Would you draft a quarterback this draft? You may lose Tyler McKee.
Yeah, I mean, I'd maybe draft a 5th or 6th rounder.
Carson,
I don't think it. Look, I'll criticize Jalen. Let's live in real world for a little bit, guys. You don't draft a fucking replacement for your Super Bowl MVP quarterback a year after the Super Bowl, okay? You don't do that. I don't care what world you live in. You don't do that. And the Eagles are not about to do that, all right? So, come on.
You think they're putting pressure on Jalen this year, though?
I do. And that's where I think the 27 season is going to be. I think this is a crux year for learning about the setup where, you can maybe point finger or whatever, however you want to look at it. But I think it's going to weed things out because you're going to know more now than more from this than you did from the past. But where I think Jalen is safe is this. They hired think about who they hired. Okay. I want you to really think about it and tell me what I'm thinking about. They hired a 33, a 35, and a 38-year-old to run the offense. When that fails, does everybody really believe that they're going to move on from Jalen Hurts and not move on from the 33, 35, 38-year-old coaches that don't have any experience? Come on.
So
they've already built in. My point is they've already built in.
I don't believe that. I don't believe you're making these these meteoric changes and you're just going to do it again. So you think this is a 6-month gap? If it doesn't work, they're going to go hire a brand new coaching staff next year? A full coaching staff. You may even have to hire a complete defensive staff. Boy, is 26 big. Dude, 26 is enormous. How about if you went and got Malik Willis as a backup quarterback?
I actually like Malik Willis. I liked him in the draft. I was surprised he fell so far.
Didn't he start a couple games in Tennessee? I thought they got a job.
I think a few. They drafted that goofy ass dude. What was that goofy ass quarterback that was eating the mayo?
The kid from Penn State, right?
No, Kentucky, I think.
Kentucky.
What was that kid's name? Oh. That goofy ass dude. What was that guy's name?
He
was Will Levis. That was it. Will Levis.
Yeah. You know how I know that kid? Kid's from Connecticut. Because he started at Penn State. He started at Penn State and then transferred.
Goofy ass mother effer.
Yeah.
He was like on Mayo commercial. I love Mayo too, so I can't.
Me too. I love Mayo too, man.
I fucking crush my sandwiches with Mayo.
Me too. I love mayonnaise, man. My grandpa hated it, but I liked it. Yeah. Any more supers, dude?
Yeah, we got more. Eduardo, I don't have a name in mind, brother. I was just saying, I think they could come into the season not looking at that as a one-man show anymore. You know, remember how John used to say, no way they're giving Tank the ball. I think they might bring in another back to split those reps up a little bit. I love the super on Doug. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Let's go to – what time did I join today? 4:30?